Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are continuing with my Archaeologist guide to Minecraft. Last time we built this super cool house behind me, but this time, as you can see from my hunger bar, we're in need of food. We need some food, and it's kind of snowy, so food might be a little difficult to come by, but I've decided I want to make this area over here into a bit of a wheat field or a pumpkin field or both. So that's what we're gonna do today. So while I'm going around doing all of this, let's talk about wheat and pumpkins and the origins of agriculture. Now, we actually have quite a few centers where agriculture originated and where plants were first domesticated. This happened independently in a lot of different places in the world. Now we're going to be talking today about just wheat and pumpkins. Pumpkins were first cultivated in North America, somewhere between 7,000 and 5,500 BC. And pumpkins themselves, the flesh of the pumpkin is edible, the seeds are edible, but you can also turn the seeds into oil, which is also very useful. So there are a lot of really useful parts of this plant. And pumpkin seeds have even been used by certain Native American groups to treat medical conditions around the urinary system, as well as things like tapeworms. Many non-Native American-based medicines today also use pumpkin seeds and pumpkin seed extracts to treat these issues as well. Also, you may have heard that the pumpkins you use for jack-o'-lanterns are not edible. That is not true. You can eat jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. However, jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, because they've been domesticated, they've been bred to be big, chunky pumpkins with a big hollow inside, because that's what's best for carving pumpkins for jack-o'-lanterns. So you can definitely eat them, but there's usually less flesh to the pumpkin, and they're usually a little bit, the taste isn't necessarily as good as pumpkins that have been bred specifically for cooking. Humans have been breeding certain varieties of pumpkins specifically for jack-o'-lanterns for at least a couple of centuries. To get pumpkin seeds, all you do is you put your pumpkin in your crafting table and it turns into 4 pumpkin seeds. All right, let's make a hoe. So to make a hoe, you have 2 sticks, and then you put 2 stone, and you can put them facing left or right and it'll make a hoe. It doesn't actually matter, it still all makes a hoe. One thing that you can do, and I have a lot of snow here, so I'm not necessarily gonna do it the whole way, but one thing you can do with a shovel is you can turn your grass into path blocks so that you can make like a little road if you wanted to. And you do that with a shovel just by right-clicking. So that's a way to make a nice little path for yourself out to, say, your field. Now, here's the thing. We could do like monoculture fields, and that's something that a lot of people do. However, I have recently learned that in Minecraft, if you plant your crops every other row, if you alternate rows of crops, they actually grow better because polyculture is a good farming practice. Since I have 4 pumpkin seeds, let's start with the pumpkins right here. And so what I've just done there is turned the dirt into farmland. Just like we can right-click on a grass block with a shovel to turn it into a path, you can right-click on it with a hoe in order to turn it into farmland. And you can't plant seeds, except for some very few exceptions. You can't plant crop seeds onto just a grass block or a dirt block. So if I try to plant them by right-clicking, I can't do anything. But if I plant them by right-clicking on the farmland, all of a sudden, we've got some crops, and we've also got an achievement for that. You can still grow crops in Minecraft without a water source nearby. They'll just grow a lot slower. With wheat seeds, usually you can punch some grass, and eventually you'll get some seeds. Now, wheat was first domesticated in the Middle East around 9,600 BC. So about 11,000 years ago, or over 11,000 years ago. The first species that we domesticated is called einkorn wheat. It's a wild wheat that grows in that area, and originally it was domesticated in a way that allowed for more grains on the stalk and kept the grains on the stalk for longer, basically until we could harvest them. We also domesticated a type of wheat called emmer wheat. Einkorn wheat is a diploid wheat, which means that it has 2 sets of chromosomes. Emmer wheat is tetraploid, which means that it has 4 sets of chromosomes. Emmer is actually a hybrid of a type of einkorn wheat, not the domesticated kind, but a red wild einkorn wheat, and a type of goat grass, which is a really common grass that grows in this area. Now, what's interesting is that domesticated varieties of wheat from that period differ significantly from the varieties of domesticated wheat we have today. So anytime you go and see a wheat field, more likely than not, you're seeing domestication results 12,000 years in the making. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over to our area over here, and we're going to plant our wheat seeds. And I'm going to plant them right next to my pumpkin crops. Now, pumpkins, they will grow off to the side onto any free block that's next to them. Wheat seeds, or wheat, I should say, will just grow in the same square that it's in, and you can harvest it when it's ready. I don't know where it came from. Oh, you can see I panicked. I definitely panicked. Oh my gosh, my heart is racing right now. I am surprised that I didn't die. However, I am sad that it blew up 3 of my pumpkin crops and I only recovered 1 of them. So thanks, creeper. I'm glad you ruined everything. I hate creepers. I hate them so much. I need a minute. I meant to pick up some dirt. I can't even talk. I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, so we've had a little bit of growth here. We've got 1 wheat crop that's fully grown, so you can harvest it just by punching it. You get 1 wheat, and then you get a certain number of seeds. So what can we do with this wheat crop? Well, at the moment, we can't really do anything. You can't eat it. There are wheat-based recipes, but we don't have enough wheat yet to make those recipes. Look at this adorable little Arctic fox. Oh my gosh, how cute. What have you stolen? Have you stolen a stick? So foxes take things in their mouths. Oh no. That is a pillager. There are pillagers. I am not equipped to deal with pillagers. I have 3 hearts and a stone axe. Why are there pillagers? Why does this episode hate me? Yeah, they're gonna kill me, like, instantly. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And I've ruined one of my pumpkin crops again. Okay, alright. Let's replant. I do have more pumpkin seeds now, but that's just sad. It's sad. That's sad. I mean, they've solved my hunger problem for the moment, which is helpful. But pillagers will randomly spawn kind of near you or near a village, but we know that there's no village. Oh gosh, now there's a zombie. What is with what? What game? I'm trying to monologue here. What's happening? Okay, that's been a lot of excitement. I just want a pumpkin. Please. Please? Please? Can I get a pumpkin? We have a pumpkin! We have a pumpkin! So you can see once the pumpkin grows, it grows onto an unoccupied space around the plant. So for these ones, each of them, they're only going to grow on these spaces, except for this one, which might occasionally grow over here. But generally, they're going to grow over on this side, and then you harvest them the same as you do a regular pumpkin out in the wild, as you saw me do earlier. So you just use an axe. Now we have a pumpkin. So we have pumpkins, and we've got wheat. I did expand a little bit of our wheat farm as we were going. And we can actually turn this pumpkin into more pumpkin seeds if I want. I think I'm gonna wait though. I'm gonna hang on to this pumpkin. This is, without a doubt, the most challenging farm I have ever built. And there's what? 12 crops. There are 12 crops here. Anyway, we have a farm. It works. I think we're going to end the episode there. I hope you enjoyed this episode and all of the small heart attacks that it gave me. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you enjoy this series, hit that notification bell so that you can be among the first to know when I release a new episode. That's all from me for today. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!